Good evening. Today I'm going to talk about the importance of being tested and knowing your status. It is very important in the society that we live in to know our status and get tested for sexually transmitted diseases and sexually transmitted infections. A lot of people in our generation either start participating in sexual intercourses at an early age, start participating at an age that is appropriate, but we're not educated enough on the importance of protecting ourselves, protecting our partners, and knowing our status. A lot of people find fear in going to the doctor, getting blood tests, or it may be embarrassing to people. However, medical professionals have a duty to civilians and people in our society to take care of them and educate them and to make sure that their health is 100% at all times. Um, Knowing your status is just an important thing because we have so many people in our generation that are either having premature pregnancies, pregnancies at an early age, or being infected with diseases at a very young age and not being educated on the importance of knowing your status or being too afraid to go forth and say, hey, I did this, I need to be tested, I'm not sure if I was infected. We have to educate ourselves and be comfortable in the actions that we take because for every action that we take, there's a consequence for that action. There are a lot of sexually transmitted diseases that you'll show no signs or symptoms for years at a time, and that's why it is so important to be tested for certain sexually transmitted diseases on an annual basis. You have diseases like syphilis, herpes, gonorrhea, chlamydia. Herpes is one that is not curable. Herpes can be treated with different medications. You can have periods where you will have something and it'll go away. And for younger people who are participating in sexual intercourses, they may think, oh, it's just a rash or it's just a skin irritation. And what it could be is an outbreak. And then they're not sure. And then they're not educated on the importance of using protection. So then they go and have sex with someone else. And boom, now you have two teenagers in one high school that are again infected with sexually transmitted diseases, and because nobody's educating kids on the importance of using protection or abstaining from sex, which we know is the number one way to prove that you do not have any sexual transmitted diseases or infections, the kids are afraid to come forth and say, hey, I need to be tested, or they're embarrassed. So it needs to be being tested for sexually transmitted diseases is a topic that should be brought about of people all ages now. I personally don't have kids, but I feel that we should maybe start talking to kids at the age of puberty starts because people are so uneducated, and if we know better, we do better. And because people are not being educated on the importance of using protection or being tested, then that's how we spread so many diseases and we spread them unknowingly. Um, it's important also to be tested just because, like, knowing your status and knowing that your health is in A1 condition is better than walking around wondering, oh, why does my body feel like this? Or you get this cough that won't go away, and then you later find out, oh, it's HIV. If you had to come in months before, we could have caught this, we could have treated this. So it's very important that we use our resources in our communities and in our medical fields to educate ourselves and also use the resources and utilize the resources to educate others and protect ourselves and protect others and the people that we care about the most. It's also important to be tested because knowing your status could prevent you from having issues down the line. I know that I've done a little bit of research with me being a nursing major and a medical assistant. Um, one disease, syphilis. Syphilis can be in your body for years at a time. I'm talking about anywhere from 3 to 5 years before you even start showing symptoms. But the window between 3 to 5 years and 5 to 15 years is when syphilis affects the brain. This is a disease that starts off with just maybe a little sore on your skin. You're like, oh, what's this? And then it turns into a rash on your hands. And you may be thinking, oh, it's a reaction to the laundry detergent or a reaction to the hand soap. And then you find out that it's affecting your brain. And because you waited so long to be tested, now there's no cure. Now there's no hope for you. Now it has to run its course, and you lose your brain capacity and your mental capacity because this disease has gotten into your brain cells and it has affected your body versus going to the doctor and being treated with an antibiotic for a couple of weeks at a time. So it is very important that we know what we're up against as a society and as individuals. We should educate ourselves more on the importance of being tested. So if you don't know your status, it is very important that you know your status. If you know that you abstain from sexual intercourses and you decide, hey, I'm ready, or I just got married and I want, have your partner be tested before you have sexual intercourses. It protects you, it protects your partners, it protects other people in your future, or it helps you notify people in your past. And if you go to the doctor and you find out that you have contracted a sexually transmitted disease or sexually transmitted infection, it's very important that you let the people who you have dealt with in the past know that, hey, you may want to go and get tested. I'm not saying that you have it, although it may be the hardest conversation you may ever have in your life, or it may be a conversation that may ruin friendships or ruin a relationship. At least you cared enough to say to them, hey, I care about you enough to make sure that your health is at a good standing. I went to the doctor, there's a possibility, and you talk to them and you just let them know it's time for you to go get tested. I understand if our friendship or our relationship doesn't work out over this. However, I want you to be educated and know your status as well. So if you are participating in sexual intercourses or you know people, just educate your kids, educate your family, your friends, educate your partners. And it's okay to say, hey, you know, babe, I love you. You know, we've been together for a while. We haven't been tested in a few months. You know, let's go and get tested together. The being tested for sexually transmitted diseases and infection does not have to be an embarrassing thing. It should be a thing of pride. Like, hey, yes, we're taking our health into our own matters and we're doing things about our own health to protect ourselves, to protect our society, our friends, and our loved ones. So, if you don't know your status, I suggest that you can go to regular doctors. Because at a doctor's office, the patient privileges are private. HIPAA says that no one can give your health information out if they're not on your HIPAA information. If not, if you're comfortable going to local health departments, you can go to local health departments, whatever have you. Just know your status and make sure that you're educating the people around you and the people that you love to protect yourselves, guys. It is very important that we know our status. And